appreciate the opportunity to take part in today's debate. Indeed, our government is acutely aware that rising prices are being experienced around the world and that Canadians are not exempt. But at this point, the honourable opposition should also be aware that carbon pollution pricing is not the problem. In fact, most households will get back more through climate action incentive payments than they pay due to federal carbon pollution pricing. The federal carbon pricing system is not about raising revenues. All direct proceeds from pricing carbon pollution under the federal system are being returned to the provincial or territorial jurisdictions in which they were collected. 8 out of 10 households get back more than they pay. So putting a price on pollution isn't the problem. It's a solution and an effective one. It's a market-based mechanism that actually was initially proposed by conservative economists, but for the official opposition, it's ideology over expertise every time. They have been fighting climate action for years in Canada. Today, we face literally billions of dollars in cleanup and adaptation costs from extreme weather events that are stronger and more frequent because of climate change. Conservatives vote against every measure our government brings to improve affordability for Canadians, whether it was the child tax benefit or pandemic relief or dental care or temporary GST break. Now the Conservatives pretend to be on the side of those facing energy poverty. Canadians have been riding the roller coaster of volatile global oil and gas prices for years, and Conservatives have said nothing about skyrocketing profits for oil and gas producers. The only way to eliminate energy poverty and to reduce household energy costs in Canada and to have true energy security is by fighting climate change. With the volatility of oil prices and record profit for oil companies, Conservatives are proposing Canadians be chained to the oil and gas markets and completely vulnerable to foreign wars and cartels. Because the problem Canadians are facing is global, caused by COVID-19 pandemic and Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine, and our government has been steadfast in delivering targeted and fiscally responsible financial supports to help Canadians through these challenges. We know, for example, that many are experiencing the rise in the cost of living through higher food prices and rents. And we know that this poses a particular challenge for lower-income Canadians who are more vulnerable to these effects. Supporting Canada's most vulnerable by doubling the GST credit for 6 months. That, Madam Speaker, is why we have taken action to put more money back into the pockets of those who are most vulnerable. Bill C-30, which just received World Assent on Tuesday, offers a perfect example of how we are doing this. By doubling the goods and service tax credit for 6 months, Bill C-30 will roughly deliver $2.5 billion in additional support to roughly 11 million eligible low-income people and families, including more than half of Canadian seniors. This will mean up to an extra $234 for single Canadians without children and up to an extra $467 for couples with 2 children. Seniors will receive an extra $225 on average. With Bill C-30 now the law, these extra GST credit amounts will be paid starting in early November as a one-time lump sum payment through the existing GST credit system to all current recipients. Current recipients do not need to apply for the additional payment. They will receive it automatically. If individuals have not filed their 2021 tax returns already, they should do so to ensure they're able to receive both the current GST credit and the additional payment. Eligible Canadians who already received the GST credit will automatically receive their payment starting in early November. So I would like to take a moment, Madam Speaker, to look at some examples of what this will mean to some of our most vulnerable neighbors in real terms. Under the present GST credit, we know that a single mother with one child and a net income of $30,000 will receive $386.50 for the July through December 2022 period, and another $386.50 for the January through June 2023 period. But with Bill C-30, she will receive an additional $386.50. So in total, she will be receiving about $1,160 this benefit year through the GST credit. What's more, Madam Speaker, Bill C-30 is just one example of how we are helping Canadians, the most vulnerable Canadians. We have also introduced Bill C-31, which would provide a Canadian dental benefit starting this year. This would be for families with children under 12 who do not have access to dental insurance and who have an adjusted net income of less than $90,000. Those families would be able to access direct payments totaling up to $1,300 per child over the next 2 years, up to $650 per year, to cover dental expenses for their children under 12 years. It is expected that 500,000 Canadian children could benefit from this targeted investment of $938 million. Bill C-31 would also provide a one-time top-up to the Canada Housing Benefit. This one-time payment of $500 would be available to applicants with an adjusted net income below $35,000 for families or below $20,000 for individuals who pay at least 30% of their income on rent. It is estimated that 1.8 million low-income renters, including students who are struggling with the cost of housing, would be eligible for this new support. For the Canadians who need this support the most vulnerable Canadians, this would mean new money for them this year at exactly the right time. Madam Speaker, the measures in Bill C-30 and Bill C-31 would complement previous actions taken by our government and are providing help this year to support those who are most vulnerable through the current challenges. We have enhanced the Canada Workers Benefit. We will have cut childcare fees in half by the end of this year. In July, we increased the old age security by 10% for seniors 75 and older. And for post-secondary students, we have doubled the Canada Student Grant until July 2023. With these and other recent measures, a couple in Ontario with an income of $45,000 and a child in daycare could receive about an additional $7,800 above their existing benefit this fiscal year. A single recent graduate in Alberta with an entry-level job and an income of $24,000 could receive about an additional $1,300 in new and enhanced benefits. And a senior in Quebec with a disability could benefit from over $2,700 more this year than they received last year. Helping our most vulnerable through the current challenges is the right thing to do, Madam Speaker. We know our government can tackle affordability and climate change at the same time. In fact, climate action and reducing dependence on volatile global oil and gas prices set by foreign cartels and overseas conflicts is the path to eliminating energy poverty once and for all. When it comes to climate change, we know that a price on pollution is the most economically effective way to fight climate change. Canada's carbon pricing system is recognized by experts and institutions around the world, including the IMF, as being a model for other countries to follow. Thank you.
Questions